Long before nations, borders, or written history, humans lived simple lives shaped by survival. Early humans did not think about power or domination. Their only goal was to stay alive. Every day was spent searching for food, water, and shelter. Nature was dangerous, and humans were weak compared to the world around them. They lived in small tribes, moving with the seasons, following animals, and gathering plants. Cooperation was necessary. Alone, a human could not survive. Together, they had a chance. For a long time, this way of life worked. But as human populations slowly grew, the balance of survival began to change. Food became harder to find. Animals migrated or disappeared. Certain lands became more valuable than others. Places near rivers, forests, or caves offered better chances of survival. For the first time, humans began to stay instead of constantly moving. This was a turning point. When humans settled, land was no longer just a place to pass through. It became something to protect, something to defend, something to fight over. At first, encounters between tribes were cautious. They watched each other from a distance. They studied movements. Fear grew quietly. Each group wondered the same thing. Will they take what we need to survive? There were no rules, no leaders trained in diplomacy, no way to resolve conflict peacefully, only instinct. As resources became scarce, tension increased. A hunting ground used by one tribe was needed by another. A water source that once served everyone could no longer support all. Fear turned into suspicion. Suspicion turned into hostility. Tools that were once made for survival slowly changed purpose. Stone knives used to cut meat became weapons. Spears meant for hunting animals were now pointed at humans. Hands that once built shelters now prepared for violence. The First War did not begin with a grand plan. It began with a moment, a misunderstanding, a trespass, a desperate act driven by hunger or fear. One attack led to another, and suddenly humans were fighting humans. There were no armies, no battle formations, no strategies written down, only chaos. Fighting was close, brutal, and personal. Humans faced each other at arm's length. Every wound was dangerous. There were no doctors, no medicine. Even a small injury could lead to death. The land that once gave life now burned. Shelters were destroyed. Food stores were lost. Families were broken. Children were left without protection. The cost of conflict was immediate and devastating. For the first time, humans realized something terrifying. The greatest danger was no longer just nature, it was themselves. When the fighting ended, there were no winners. The survivors were injured, exhausted, and traumatized. Entire tribes were weakened or wiped out. The land could no longer support those who remained. Silence followed violence. In that silence, humans were forced to reflect. Not with words, but with experience. War did not make survival easier. It made it harder. Yet humanity did not disappear. The survivors adapted again. They became more cautious. They formed stronger group bonds. They guarded territories carefully. They passed down stories of loss and warning, not as history, but as lessons. The memory of conflict shaped human behavior forever. Over time, humans developed better tools, stronger shelters, and more organized groups. Conflict did not disappear, but it changed. It became planned. It became strategic. It became something remembered and repeated. The first prehistoric war marked a permanent shift in human existence. It showed that survival was no longer just about finding food or avoiding predators. It was also about navigating fear, competition, and human nature itself. Today, modern humans live surrounded by technology, laws, and systems designed to prevent chaos. But the instincts remain: the fear of scarcity, the desire to protect, the memory of conflict. The First War was not about hatred, it was about survival, and its echo still lives within us. Understanding this past is not about blaming early humans, it is about recognizing where we came from and deciding how we move forward. Because the story of the first prehistoric war is not just history, it is a reminder. Survival shaped us, conflict changed us, and the future depends on what we choose to learn from it. The story of the first prehistoric war reminds us that humanity has always lived on the edge of survival. Every tool we use today, every rule we follow, every system we build was shaped by moments like this. If you found this story meaningful, take a moment to support the journey. Subscribe to Survival Battle for more animated stories about early humans, ancient survival, and the struggles that shaped mankind. If you enjoyed the video, like it. It helps this story reach others who are curious about our past. And let us know in the comments, what do you think caused the first human conflict? Fear, hunger, or survival instinct? Because understanding where we came from helps us understand who we are today.